These are the BooTech BT Smart compression boots, and I am really excited to take a look at these today. This is from a company that's relatively new in the recovery space called Bodytech. They're out of Spain, and I've reviewed several dozen different compression boot brands on my channel over the last several years, and it almost seems like Bodytech has taken the feedback from all of my videos and made what could arguably be my ideal compression boot. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what comes with these out of the box. I'll talk about some of the specifications and features, and then I will provide my overall thoughts at the end after using them. So let's start by taking a look at what comes with these out of the box. So the first thing you see is two little small drawstring pouches. Everything that comes with the device comes in these two little pouches. Obviously, they're designed for one boot to fit in each one of them. These just have a logo screen printed on them, little drawstring. They're a very low quality little travel pouch, just meant to protect it, sort of more like a dust bag than anything. But each one of them does have a boot inside of it. The boots themselves look very similar to all the other major brands, your Normatec or Hyperice, your Therabody, your Rapid Reboot. Very similar quality fabric, has sort of this little design on it. These ones have BooTech screen printed on them, their logo. Then you have the pump housing and control unit, which is actually right on it there. On the pump, you have a screen with 4 buttons. You have a pressure up and down, you have a power, you have a mode, and a time setting. On the sides here, you have one button that actually releases the battery. So they do have removable batteries on them, which make it really easy to charge. You just press the button on the side here to get that to slide out. On the other side, you have a emergency relief valve. So if the pressure gets high at any point, you can just emergency relieve all the air pressure from it. The boots have a zipper that runs the full length all the way down to the end. It does stop with a little bit of fabric at the end. It does have the triangle design on the foot, and then you do have 2 hooks on one end that you can hang them. Now I mentioned the batteries. You do get a small little pouch for the batteries themselves, and then you get 2 USB-A to USB-C charging cables, and they are very easy to charge. So once you have the battery disconnected, you just plug it into the back, and you only have to go charge this and not have to charge the entire boot by an outlet. There is also a small button on the back of the battery here that you can press to look at your battery power level on the top. So you've got some lights on the top that indicate the battery power. Now with the boot, you do also have 5 chambers that are inside the boot. So you've got one in the foot, one in the ankle, one in the knee, one in the thigh, and then one in the upper thigh. These chambers are overlapping, so very similar to a Therabody or a Normatec. And they do come in 3 different sizes. They have a small, a medium, and a large. So that being said, I am going to go ahead and put these boots on now. As I'm putting them on, I am going to talk about some more features of the boots, talk about some more of the specifications, and then I actually will go through and use them for part of a routine. So similar to most other compression boot brands, there are 2 different ways that you can put them on. You can slide the whole boot on like a pair of pants, or you can put your leg inside and zip it up. I tend to prefer the pulling it on method. It's just easier for me. But depending on your flexibility or just general abilities, there's 2 different ways that you can do that. So when you are ready to turn the device on, you just press and hold the power button on either of the pumps. Now these pumps are attached, so they're not going to go anywhere. As soon as you turn them on, you have an indicator that shows an icon of what your leg looks like. You've got the mode settings, you've got your pressure, you've got your time. And then on the left side, you have your battery life. You have 2 different boots that show whether they're connected or not. So there is some Bluetooth connectivity, so you only have to use the controls on one and it'll do the same thing to both. And then lastly, you do have some connectivity for the app that displays. So once you have the boots on, you do need to determine what settings you want to use it on. So these boots do have 28 different pressure zones that you can select from, going from 40 millimeters of mercury all the way up to 180 millimeters of mercury in 5 millimeter mercury segments. They do also have 5 different massage patterns that you can choose from. Those are fatigue relief, training activation, exercise recovery, relaxation, and deep care. And the differences between most of those are just going to be the different sequences that they fill, whether it's going to fill the whole boot at once and then release, or go 1 chamber at a time and release, or move different chambers and do separate little holds after each of them. So it's a personal comfort there. I tend to prefer the fatigue relief, which is going to fill the whole boot and then release. That's sort of the standard pattern. So that's the one that I'm going to select today. From a time setting, you can go anything from 15 minutes all the way up to an hour. And you do have the ability to activate or deactivate individual chambers, starting with the most proximate one to your heart. So if you wanted to turn off the upper thigh, you could. You don't have the ability to turn off different ones lower though. It'll just sequentially go down towards the foot, but you can go down to just one chamber if you want. You do have to have at least one chamber on in order for the boot to work. Now these are battery powered devices, so they do recommend that you fully charge both batteries before the initial use. They recommend charging them for 3 hours each. And with that 3-hour charge, you're gonna get a 3-hour battery life for each battery, depending on what settings you're actually using those on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my routine now. I'm gonna set my pressure at 110 millimeters of mercury, which for comparison's sake, that is the maximum pressure of the Normatec Elite boots. So that tends to be the pressure that I prefer with other boots. So that's what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna do 30 minutes, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna let it go through about 2 cycles. You can change the time, you can change the settings, you can change the mode. Once you're ready to get started, you just press the power button again, and it will begin filling. So you see on the screen here, it is indicating where it's starting to fill. You've got the flashing white around the foot. Now I mentioned it earlier, but the foot on this is sort of a 3-panel design, like a triangle. So you've got a flat bottom and then 2 panels on either side. It's the most comfortable design of any boots. Not all compression boots have that, but it is the most comfortable, and it should be very, very comfortable when it's filling that foot. It shouldn't be pinching or anything like that. And you wanna have your toes just barely to the end of them so that you're fully wearing them the most appropriate way. So just completed the initial cycle. It took 2 minutes to completely fill. It holds for a few seconds and then it releases. And then it will start to pump again. And what I'm feeling while these fill is just a gentle squeeze. It's not overly painful. Just starts in the foot and then slowly fills up. And as it does get through with filling this, I do want to highlight one of my favorite features of these is whenever you are ready to stop, you can turn it off and it'll have an automatic deflate function where it will reverse the air and empty the boots within 2 minutes. And that is the one feature that I have mentioned on almost every single compression boot review that I've had, is that I wish boots had that. And there was only been one other brand that I've seen that had that until these ones. So I'm excited to show how quickly these deflate, because most other brands, you have to just rely on gravity before you can fold them up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna stop this here. And as soon as you stop it, you can press and hold the power button for 2 seconds and it'll say evacuating. So you get this little icon. It just takes a couple seconds to assess how much air is in there. And then we'll actually flip on and reverse the direction of the pump. So there it goes, it just turned on, and you'll be able to see these slowly deflate within the next 2 minutes. So one boot stopped there already, second boot still going a little bit here, almost there, but you see all the air is out of these. Just let this one finish up here quick. And why that deflate feature is so great, because it makes it so much easier to just take the boots off then when you're done. You don't have to worry about trying to pull them out of an already inflated boot. You can immediately fold them up and pack them up, unlike other boots, which you have to sit and wait for sometimes 10 minutes for the air to completely evacuate. So there you go, that's the boot completely deflated thanks to that reversing of the pump. So awesome feature there. Now, a couple other things to mention with these boots, they do also have a Bluetooth app that it's compatible with. In that app, you can do a lot of different things. So you can do everything that the Control does. You can also adjust the hold time, you can adjust the release time, you can adjust the pressure of individual chambers. So it does have a negative gradient compression normally, but you can adjust that specifically chamber by chamber. There are going to be 5 millimeter mercury differences between the chambers when you elect to do that. You can also save routines. So if you want certain time settings, certain pressure settings, you can do that all within their app. If you are interested in these boots, they are currently priced at $599. They do come with a 2-year warranty. And overall, I just think these are an amazing value. When you look at everything that they're capable of doing, it is very, very similar to all the top brands on the market, whether that be the Normatec Elite or the Recovery Air. Just for a comparison's sake, the Normatec Elite, I mentioned earlier, like their maximum pressure is 110 millimeters of mercury. This one is 180. They both have the same time settings. This one allows you to remove the battery out of it. You've got the same number of chambers. These ones have 5 routines versus the Normatec Elite only have 1 routine. So just sort of a quick little comparison there, but really the big difference is the price. So you're looking at a pretty high quality boot here for almost half the price. So these ones are $499. I think the Normatec Elite right now are 900. They used to be 1,000. You know, I don't know where these guys have been. They're a startup. They're relatively new. They started in 2023, but I do think that they're going to quickly make a wave in the recovery space. To my knowledge, it's only these compression boots. They've got one other set of compression boots that are even cheaper than these ones. They are sold out, so I wasn't able to get a pair of those. I'm excited to see where these guys go with this product. Some things that I would just offer for these just to highlight what I do really like and maybe some things that I think they could improve. So I do really like the quality. I like the comfort. I like the controls. I do like that the pump is on here. The pump is a little bit big for me. When you do look at the new Jet boots, when you look at the Normatec Elite, the pump portion is about half the size, half the weight of these. So these are a little bit big, but again, you do have that deflate feature, so maybe that has something to do with it. The quality of the boot is exactly the same as any of those other big brands. I do like that you can remove the battery. It just makes it really easy when it comes to charging them, that you only need to take this. I think the pouch that the battery comes with is unnecessary. I don't love that there's two separate drawstring pouches. I'd love it was just one, either a case or a carry pouch or something that everything could fit in. Having two separate ones just doesn't really make sense to me. You know, it's an unnecessary thing. I wish the quality of that case was a little bit higher. Yes, these are much more affordable than some of those other ones, but I do think that for $500, the case could just be a little bit more high quality. Even if it was the same fabric as these boots, that would just be a nice little improvement. But overall, I am just really impressed with these. If you guys have questions about them, go ahead, drop in the comments down below. I will do my best to answer those as always. If this video was at all helpful to you, please consider giving it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel. Otherwise, that's it. That's a quick overview of the BooTech BT Smart compression boots. That's a review. Enjoy your recovery.